Good afternoon, friends. I'm Sanjay Agrawal, and we have Arun with us. He's from IIT Bombay.
IIT Bombay, yes.
IIT Bombay, and he has a startup. And this is in the today we are here for DEFSAT. So DEFSAT was a 3-day event, 27th, 28th, 29th of April, and this is about the synergy they're trying to establish between the private players and the defense.
Yes.
So Arun was here, and he's talked about his startup. So we'd like you to introduce yourself and tell more about yourself and your startup.
Alright.
Yes.
All right.
Please
So
go ahead.
I'm not exactly the co-founder for this startup, but I'm part of the founding team. So I work at a startup called Inspacity. So as the name implies, Inspacity. We are trying to build cities in space. So how we do this is that we try to give capabilities to orbital platforms. So in terms of propulsion, in terms of rendezvous and docking. So there is a lot of problem with space junk these days. People talk about 14 to 16,000 pieces of debris in space. So we anticipate that in the coming years, you wouldn't have the capacity to even launch a satellite because you would have to go through a minefield
They
of
say
debris.
60,000 satellites are already in orbit.
So the number is about 6,500 satellites, and we anticipate within the next decade there would be 50,000 satellites. So on a conservative estimate, we are estimating about 2,000 to 3,000 satellites per year. So when such a thing happens, you need capabilities for the satellites to move about in orbit. So it is like you are traveling on the road and you have so many cars coming on the way. You need a way for the car to move about. So, and that is what we are providing with our propulsion systems. So we are a propulsion company first. But with this technology, we are able to service satellites. So one of the main problems is that satellites only have a very limited life. So 5 to 7 years in the low Earth orbit and 10 to 12 years in the geostationary orbit. So what happens when a satellite ends its life is that the fuel runs out, so the propellant runs out. So a satellite is still functioning, but because it doesn't have the fuel, it can't maintain station. So we are able to refuel the satellite. If not refuel the satellite, dock with the satellite and provide additional capabilities in the thrust. So we can extend the life by 3 to 5 years. And this is something which is very good for the constellation operators because per year your satellite is generating $75 million of revenue from the transponders. So if you're able to extend the life by 2 to 3 years, that's a significant
Right. So right now, like Indian companies and many foreign companies, they are already into the space who've done the testing. You people have.
So right now, American companies like Northrop and there are startups which are developing this technology. So we are the first company in India which is looking at satellite servicing as our main business model.
And you're talking about another company.
Northrop.
Bellatrix.
Bellatrix
As
was
the name goes.
Bellatrix is, not to be confused with the Harry Potter character.
Right.
But Bellatrix is a star in the constellation of Orion. So it's part of the core team at Bellatrix. So where we looked at, again, propulsion systems, but we worked on a different technology, which is electric propulsion. So like, there are two basic classes of propulsion technologies, electric and chemical. Chemical is a traditional technology which is used in satellites. Electric is like the name implies, it's a new age technology. It's not new because the Russians have been building electric propulsion
So the
systems.
battery, it will be kind of an EV thing?
It is
Means those
not exactly a battery
charging.
thing. It's the way in which the thrust is generated. So in an electric propulsion system, you have the fuel, which is xenon, krypton, argon,
All right.
which is ejected at a very high speed. So your satellite gets very high mileage. It is like to say that an electric satellite is like your Bajaj Platina. 100 kilometers you get mileage. A chemical satellite is like your Hayabusa. You get very less mileage. So both have its merits and demerits because chemical is much faster. So we're able to put the satellite into operation. Electric takes a lot of time, but it gives you a long life. So it remains of a trade-off between what the operator wants for its
Wonderful. And we also want to know about your other co-founders, your team players.
So
if you want to talk about
that. The actual co-founder is Dr. Arun Radhakrishnan. He's associated with IIT Bombay over the last decade, and he's been working on refining the chemical propulsion system. And then there's Tausif Sheikh. He's his PhD student.
Okay.
But
Wonderful.
both professor and student have combined, and they feel that they can take this forward. So
Great.
professor is also from another startup previously, So I'm also from a previous startup, but we have both learned our lessons working in a listed startup, looking at the technology side. So that's how we have come together.
Lastly, like since you've come for the DEFSAT, so what's your key takeaway? You know, means when you're going back. So what do you in the last 2 days? What is the thing you want to share that researchers or students or startup guys?
So I've been in the ecosystem since 2014, and this is the first time that I'm seeing the Indian defense, the bureaucrats, and all the technical industry people under the same roof. So I think that is a big plus sign of the industry's willingness and the defense willingness to actually partner with the industry to develop that capacity. Because industry is very much unaware of what the military wants. And here at this conference, the military is giving. This is what we want. Can you do it? And we feel that we can do it. And we feel that in the coming years, as more and more open participation comes, there is more transparency. So we can better cater to the requirements of the defense industry.
Yeah, like Arun has said, so SIA, SATCOM, the premier body organizing this. So these people, their aim was to that way. What he said that the defense and they are all open up. Because now we have got so many things under our Prime Minister Modi's vision for making India self-reliant.
Yes.
And by 2047 again we want to be world leader. So you think we're going in the right path?
Absolutely, because when the Indian Space Agency, ISRO, back in the 60s and the 70s, the environment was different for us. So at that time the focus was always societal development. And now that we have demonstrated the capability of deploying, having these ambitious missions to Moon and Mars, we are trying to expand the way forward. And right now we are in a situation where the entire world is at conflict. And as somebody great once said, power in strength respects strength.
Wonderful.
And for India to be self-reliant, that paves the way for our own security. So that is what
I think thank you. And this is Sanjay Agrawal from World News 24/7. So this is actually an international portal. The aim of our portal is also to get information across, where it means whatever we are talking to people. So we want this, whatever we are covering here, it goes to the larger sections of the society who were not present at those events, like which we have attended today. So we've done a lot of interviews with startups, awardees, different sectors. So maybe you can also watch our YouTube channel
Please
and our
share the link.
portals. Thank you, Arun.
Thank you.